Welcome to elderly care, where growing older means growing wiser, not weaker. I'm Dr. Winston, a geriatric specialist with over 35 years of experience walking alongside seniors through the most meaningful stages of life. In this space, we explore the truth, tenderness, and transformation that come with aging. Because your later years deserve just as much attention and care as your earlier ones. If you're over 60 or care for someone who is, this channel is for you. Today's topic touches deeply on a question many fear to ask. Why do most lives seem to fade after 80? And what can we do differently to thrive beyond 100? If this resonates with you, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Elderly Care for more heartfelt stories, expert advice, and emotional support tailored for seniors. Let's begin together. There is something sacred about turning 80. It's not just a number, it's a threshold. You've lived through wars and peace, through loss and love, through youth and the slow unveiling of age. Your hands have held generations. Your eyes have seen the world change more times than you can count. Reaching 80 is a triumph, no doubt, but for many, it is also a moment where life quietly shifts, sometimes in unexpected ways. The truth is, most people don't live long beyond their 80s. The statistics bear this out, and it is a reality many families experience firsthand. An aging parent seems strong and steady, then suddenly begins to decline. A once lively friend becomes withdrawn, and before long, their light fades. Why does this happen? Is it purely biological? Or is there something deeper at play? Something about the soul's readiness to either continue or surrender. This story begins not in a hospital room, but in a quiet kitchen in a small town in France. An 87-year-old woman named Cécile sat by the window every morning, sipping warm tea and watching the same tree she had seen bloom for over 50 years. Her hands trembled slightly now, but her eyes still sparkled with the same curiosity she had as a girl. When asked what kept her going, she didn't speak of doctors or medicines. She whispered, "I still have questions I want answered. I'm not done yet." That in itself may hold the secret, the hidden decline. Let's be honest. Many people experience a dramatic shift in both physical and emotional health after 80. But the decline doesn't begin in the body. It begins in the spirit. Too often, society subtly suggests that after 80, you are done. You've had your turn. Retirement has long passed. Children are grown. Contributions are complete. It is this cultural invisibility that causes many seniors to lose their sense of relevance. When purpose fades, so does vitality. The mind, once filled with curiosity and challenge, begins to drift. Without stimulation, the brain's sharp edges soften, memory falters, reaction time slows. Without daily movement, muscles weaken, joints stiffen, and fatigue becomes a constant companion. But more dangerous than these physical symptoms is the loss of desire. Not the desire for things, but the desire for living. Yet in pockets of the world, in Okinawa, in Sardinia, in Loma Linda, in Nicoya, in Ikaria, places known as blue zones, you find elders in their 90s and even 100s who continue to live with joy, clarity, and purpose. What do they know that the rest of us forget? The first wisdom: keep the mind awake. Mental engagement is not a luxury after 80. It is a necessity. The brain, like the body, atrophies when left unused, but when nurtured, it can stay vibrant well past its expected limits. Consider Haruki, a 101-year-old calligrapher in Kyoto. Every morning, he opens his studio, grinds his ink, and begins to write. His lines are precise, elegant. His memory is intact. Each character is a meditation, he says. It keeps my mind clean. Whether it's solving crosswords, writing letters, learning a new language, or simply staying curious about the world, these acts feed the brain. And more importantly, they reinforce the idea that you still have something to learn, something to give. The elders who live long don't retreat into mental silence. They speak, they question, they debate, they teach, they remain students of life. The second wisdom, movement is life. After 80, exercise may no longer mean lifting weights or running laps, but movement must continue. In fact, gentle movement is often the very thing that prolongs life. In the mountains of Costa Rica, 96-year-old Elena walks to the market every day. It's a steep path, winding and uneven, but she navigates it with practiced ease. Her secret? She never stopped moving. The body forgets how to move when you stop asking it to, she says. Movement doesn't just preserve muscles and joints. It stimulates circulation, supports digestion, improves mood, and wards off depression. More than that, it signals to the brain that you are still living your life, not waiting for it to end. Even those confined indoors can find ways to move. Chair yoga, stretching routines, dancing slowly to old music in the living room. These are more than exercises. They are acts of resistance against decline. The third wisdom, stay connected. If there is one factor that nearly all centenarians share, it is connection to others. Not necessarily large social circles or constant visitors, but meaningful relationships. A friend to talk to, a neighbor to wave to, a granddaughter who calls every Sunday. After 80, many seniors face an aching loneliness. Spouses may be gone. Friends pass away. Children are busy. Loneliness doesn't just break the heart, it breaks the body. Studies now show it increases inflammation, weakens immunity, and shortens life expectancy dramatically. But those who reach 100 often find ways to stay in touch. Some become community storytellers, others join local clubs or spiritual groups. In Ikaria, elders gather each evening in the village square to sip wine and laugh. We belong to each other, one woman says. That's why we live so long. It's never too late to build connection. A handwritten letter, a phone call, an invitation to tea. These small gestures create big ripples. The fourth wisdom, emotional resilience. By the time someone reaches 80, they have likely experienced profound loss. A partner's death, a sibling's illness, regret, mistakes. Time itself seems to become both gift and thief. And yet, the longest living elders share a certain emotional lightness. Not because their lives have been easier, but because they have learned how to let go. They do not carry burdens longer than they must. They grieve, but they do not dwell. They remember, but they do not live in the past. A man named Luis, 103, who lost his wife 30 years earlier, still speaks of her with affection, but not sorrow. She gave me so much love, he says. Why would I spend my last years in grief when I can live them in gratitude? This emotional resilience, this quiet strength, is what allows the heart to keep beating long after the world says it shouldn't. Those who live beyond 100 often approach life with humility, forgiveness, and joy. They do not demand perfection from themselves or others. The fifth wisdom, a sense of purpose. The final and perhaps most essential wisdom is purpose. Life does not ask us to be grand after 80, but it does ask us to remain purposeful. Purpose does not need to be complicated. It might be the joy of baking bread every week for the family. It might be tending to a flower bed, or mentoring a young neighbor, or feeding the birds at the park. Purpose is what pulls us out of bed in the morning. It gives our days meaning and our nights peace. In one blue zone, researchers interviewed a woman who had just turned 104. She still swept her porch each morning and made soup for her great-grandchildren every Friday. "I'm the keeper of Friday," she said, with pride. That was her role, her purpose. And it kept her alive. When people lose purpose, they begin to disappear from their own lives. But when they find, even create, a new reason to wake up, something magical happens. The body responds. The spirit returns. Embracing the final seasons. Aging is not a disease. It is not a failure. It is a season. Like autumn, it carries a quiet richness, a softness filled with gold and shadow. Those who reach 80 are not at the end. They are at the doorway of a new chapter, one that asks for deeper reflection, quieter joy, and slower beauty. The elders who live long do not fear aging. They embrace it. They learn to listen to their bodies, to say no to stress, to say yes to rest, to eat simply, to laugh more. They don't race anymore. They walk. And in walking, they see more. They don't strive to be young again. They choose to be wise, kind, and present. A gentle reminder. If you are 80, or if someone you love is, remember this. It is never too late to change the course of your days. It is never too late to learn, move, connect, forgive, and begin again. You are not a burden. You are not invisible. You are a living history, a vessel of love, and a source of wisdom. Your story is not over. And maybe, just maybe, with a little more curiosity, a little more movement, a little more joy and purpose, you will find that the years ahead can still surprise you. They can still nourish you. And you, in turn, can still light up the world, even after 80, even into 100. Because life, when lived with heart, does not ask how long. It asks how deeply. Aging is not the closing of a book, but the turning of a page into a chapter rich with wisdom, grace, and quiet strength. If this message touched your heart or made you reflect, I invite you to stay with us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Care, where every week we bring you real stories, expert insights, and gentle encouragement to help you live fully, no matter your age. Click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, where we uncover the 7 daily choices that make life after 70 even more meaningful.